This is BTV.
Well, it's been about 40 years since International Enexco's CEO, Arnold Armstrong, first laid eyes on a Nevada copper project called Contact Copper. Today, considerably more copper has been found. And with more copper and on-site production planned, we thought it was time to see what kind of progress has been made all these decades later. Contact Copper is old news for International Enexco. It's been on their CEO's books since about 1970. But until recently, its neighbors were a bit too close for comfort. And that made all the difference in the world.
The Allied Nevada property was right next to us, and it meant that we had a shallow pit instead of a deep pit to take all the oxide. So it took about 3.5 years of negotiation. We finally got the Allied property.
Chief Operating Officer Bill Willoughby describes the new acquisition.
In that deal, we acquired some 1,800 acres of patented land and another roughly 6,000 acres of unpatented claims in the district. So we consolidated the district last year. That was a significant move for us forward.
CEO Arnold Armstrong has done well over his many years in mining. He learned his lessons early on.
I got involved in the mining industry because I had a friend who had me invest $12,000. This goes way back, before 1965, and I lost it. And I thought I better get on the other side of the table.
Armstrong soon set up a company called Pyramid Mines. It was a success, both with the stock market and the local town.
Saying, buy me 1,000 shares, and they'd say, of what? Anything, and that sort of thing. It sort of made the Vancouver market at that time. And then I went on from there.
Today, Armstrong's International Enexco and its Contact Copper project is moving ahead quickly. And senior geologist Dan Callback says the copper is there for all to see.
You actually can walk right down the line of this intrusive that is 140 million years old. And you see the mineralization in it, and the fact that you can walk out and you can find something on the map, on the ground, and then you can drill it and you see it underground and you can just model it.
Analysts have been very impressed with the project so far.
I really wanted to come here from New York to see this because I felt like when seeing is believing, it's not so much seeing the property, it's seeing how management works together, what they've done, how they present themselves, and I'm very pleased with what I've seen today.
I think it's fair to say that the project is fairly undervalued, what we know today. IEC has done a great job at expanding their land position. The previous resource that's on paper right now was very much constrained not by geology but by property boundary. And by acquiring some adjacent ground, there's potential to increase the resource significantly.
Exploration results have been encouraging.
We found more mineralization working eastward. It looks like we're going to expand our reserve base. Can't say at this point how much, but looks like there will be an expansion.
Because of the type of deposit it is, International Enexco plans to recover the copper with an oxide leaching process, skipping two expensive steps, the milling and the smelting, which offers considerable savings over traditional processing by eliminating those associated costs.
And the key is there's no smelter required, and that's the key.
The fact that we can produce refined metal on site is a big advantage to this size of project. It allows us to produce copper for lower cost in operation than we would otherwise, say, with a sulfide mill on the property.
I think it's something that can be brought into production fairly quickly. It's an oxide heap leach operation, so the associated capital costs are usually on the lower side compared to a full-scale sulfide milling operation to produce a concentrate. So the capital cost hurdle is much lower. This already has a resource in hand, and within the next year we'll probably see a much more updated resource, which is going to set that project, make it fairly production ready fairly quickly here.
What Enexco has here is a very unique opportunity. It's an oxide copper ore body, and we know several things about it. It will leach. In other words, the copper can be leached out of the ore very easily, so it should create a lot of wealth.
It's a great location for a copper project with roads, power, and water nearby. Plus, Nevada is a strong, mining-friendly jurisdiction. And this region has seen plenty of mining action in its past.
You find a mine where there's been a mine. It's very clear. There have been a lot of smaller mines out there over the years. I talked to one guy today who said that his family had been here since 1840 and that they had been digging on this property, or neighbors and things, since 1860. So you know there's a lot of mineralization there, and I think that's a very, very positive thing. They're going to find it.
The company has assembled a strong management team, including former Nevada governor, now a company director, Jim Gibbons.
I like management teams that are successful. And this management team has acquired a significant land package, and I think they acquired it for a very, very reasonable price.
With developing nations like China and India growing at a rapid pace, many analysts anticipate world demand for copper is unlikely to subside.
As their middle class starts to rise, they're demanding more things, such as telephones, housing, which means copper wiring for industrial usages, for electronic usages, for almost everything. So there's always a strong, strong demand for copper. That's why we haven't seen copper drop down below $3, right? It's fluctuating between $3.60 to $4 right now, and it's hanging quite strong.
With the drill program running on schedule, the company is working on their feasibility study, due out at the end of 2012.
The stage we're at right now with the project is we're at the feasibility stage. We've completed the pre-feasibility study. We're doing additional drilling, which will be incorporated into the reserve base for the feasibility.
And that's good news for everyone.
This is really good. I'm very excited to see the drill out here turning. It's putting rock in the box, and it's going to give us what we need, the information we need to proceed.
All our figures are predicated on a copper price of $2.25 because we want to be reasonable in this. And with that, we wind up with an investment rate of return exceeding 20%.
I think International Enexco is definitely one to watch. When you get down on the ground and you see it firsthand, it's pretty obvious that there's going to be growth here coming on the resource side.
To have a mine in this country that can produce significant wealth, significant jobs, and a lot of copper right here in Nevada is very significant. It's a very significant opportunity for the country and for investors.
You can look for updates from International Enexco on their drilling and feasibility study throughout the year. And you can follow their progress on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol IEC.